Florida State, it's time to predict these records. The best case, the worst case, the most likely. Do you believe in Florida State? I've been asking more and more about this team when I talk to either buddies or if I'm at a restaurant or certainly in the gym. I have found that there is a wide gap. No one's lukewarm on them. They either think they're going to win the ACC or total fool's gold. I did not know Florida State was that polarizing, or else I would have been talking about this a lot more in the spring. But I need to get out in the streets more, I guess. What is the best case for this team that went 10-3 last year? What is the best case? 12-0. I can't believe it, but I have to say it. The best case for Florida State this year is 12-0. How do you say otherwise? The more you zoom in and look at this, remember, it's called best case. They're a 2.5-point dog against LSU to start the year. And they're currently a 3-point dog at Clemson. That screams even teams on a neutral field, by the way. So those are easily winnable games. They'll be favored in every other game. How do you not say that the best case is 12-0? You've got, at that point, the blue chip ratio is irrelevant because depth and well spread out talent and especially transfer portal talent has shined through. Jordan Travis has had himself a Heisman caliber year. That influx of receiver talent has come through, and they've been really, really fortunate with no injuries. Yeah, 12-0 could happen there. Is it likely? No, it's possible. What is the worst case scenario? Well, I got 7-5, and I had a 6-6 in the cards, but I went 7-5. So obviously, there's a wide gap in potential outcomes here. Really high variance team is what you would call Florida State. In the case that worst case pans out, so in the case that they go 7-5, it probably just means the loudest detractors and haters in the room ended up being right. The haters for Florida State are saying they're overhyped and overrated right now because they didn't really beat anyone of consequence last year. They lost to Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson, the 3 ranked teams they played. They lost to all them. They beat scrub teams, and now you're overinflating their balloon, but you hadn't tied it. So when you let it go, it's just going to all over the place, and then you got sad kids. I don't believe that, but it's possible. And in the worst case, that's what happens. You lose to LSU. You lose to Clemson. Maybe the ACC is just flat out better than you thought it would be. Maybe you're not as good as you thought you were. You got a target on your back. Everyone else sees you being overhyped. And then maybe you have bad injury luck. So all that coalesces into 7-5. What's the most likely record for Florida State? I went 10-2 as the most likely record for Florida State because I really do believe in that team. And I do believe that even though the blue chip ratio is by and large a really good guidance metric, I think that their depth and their talent is spread proportionally over the team enough to where they can win these games. And also, if you'll notice, they don't have landmine situations. Like they don't have a death stretch of games like Arkansas, for example, on their schedule. They got LSU in week 1, and then it's Southern Miss at Boston College, at Clemson week 4, then the bye week. And if they're 10-2, like if I'm right, if they go 10-2, it is so important for you to tell me which games they lose. Did they lose the LSU game? Because if they did, well, maybe we've got one conference loss and that's it. Or, hey, what if they lost against LSU and Florida and ended up being undefeated in conference play? What if they beat LSU in Florida and they lose 2 conference games? So two losses only starts to tell the story there. This would be an exceptional year for them. Please don't misunderstand me. 10-2 is an exceptional year for Florida State. Or is it? That's what a lot of people will ask. Because that team has been very, very inflated in the odds market, in the hype market. They've been very inflated. Would people be happy? Would people be satisfied with 10-2? Now, if you wouldn't be satisfied with that, look, I'm not going to call you irrational in the preseason, but man, 10-2 for Florida State, I take it. 2, 4, 6, 8. They are 9th in college football right now, or at least tied for 9th to win it all. So there you go. Is Florida State back? That's what 2023 is for.